Today, inshallah, we will talk about something very important for those of you who want to find the channel for Masjid al-Rahma. This is what you should look for on YouTube. But we want to talk about something very, very important. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned something very important, that his main message, the main message of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِيُتِمَّ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ, which means I was sent to perfect good character. It was said by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So what does it mean to perfect good character? You see, let's talk about technology. Imagine you have a machine or a phone or a PlayStation that does not work properly, or it works kind of good. Wouldn't you like it to be perfect? So for that reason, a lot of companies, they hire engineers and they spend a lot of money to make that device perfect. Just like a car. They want to make cars perfect. They want to make houses perfect. Because that's what makes something be better than other things. Good? So the same applies to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the message that he carries of good character. The akhlaq, the moral values that we carry and we practice. So if Nabi Muhammad ﷺ did not perfect those, the akhlaq will be incomplete. Who knows the word akhlaq? Raise your hand. Akhlaq means good moral character. That you behave upon a good character, that people would respect, that people would admire. We good? Okay. So we're gonna pause inshallah until everybody's silent. I'm holding by a thread today, I'm really tired. One more noise and I go to sleep, seriously. Help me out. So, inshallah ta'ala, we will talk about how the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us to perfect good character. So everything he teaches us in Islam is to make us become better people, better Muslims, better believers. It does not matter if we are dealing with our parents, we're dealing with Muslims or non-Muslims alike. Islam is about making us good people, better people, with perfect moral character. So good morals towards whom? Why do we want to have good morals, good character? So Islam is a religion that teaches you to have good relations with Allah, your creator, with other people, and with yourself. I'll give you a short definition of that. Who teaches you how to pray? You see, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet Muhammad to teach us to pray. Do you pray to Allah? Do you pray to people? No, you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Islam manages your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now with others, Islam tells you not to harm people, not to steal, to be nice. That means how you treat people surrounding you. And at the end, how you treat yourself. Can you commit suicide? Can you hurt yourself? Can you put drugs in your system? Can you put alcohol in your body? That's why these things are haram in Islam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the deen of Islam to manage our relationships with our own selves. How do we clean ourselves? How do we shower? How do we, all these things, how do we, just even to brushing our teeth and everything, to keep ourselves clean, because your body has rights. Other people have rights. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rights. So do we see the picture, why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to perfect moral character? So that we treat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the respect that He deserves, we treat other people with the manner that we were told to, and that we treat our own selves with respect. Now, we do all this to be successful, inshallah, right? We want to be successful in the dunya and in the akhirah, right? So success here comes with your effort and Allah's help. So don't tell me, I'm a Muslim, I don't need to pray. Allah is so powerful already, He doesn't need my prayer. I'm not going to do no effort, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm not going to give no sadaqah. I'm not going to obey my parents because I'm just going to go to prayer. No, you have to do effort so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can help you achieve your success. You cannot be successful as a Muslim if you're lazy. We good? Now moving on. Inshallah ta'ala, We talk about people. People in general, there are three kinds of people. There is a mu'min, a kafir, and a munafiq, right? There are three kinds of people. A believer, a kafir, and a hypocrite. Who knows what a believer is? Mu'min. Someone who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the deen of Islam. How about a kafir? Someone who does not believe, period. We good? Now, how about a hypocrite? Go ahead. Pink hijab. I love it. Go ahead. You, go. Say it. Not sure. MashaAllah, she's shy. There is his hand. Go ahead. Hypocrite is what?
Hypocrite is when you say something and you still do it.
You still do it? No, the opposite. Go ahead.
A hypocrite is when somebody acts like a Muslim but they're actually not.
Exactly. A hypocrite is someone who acts like a Muslim but they're actually not. And by the way, during the time of Rasulullah, there were about 300 hypocrites. They showed that they were Muslims, but in actuality they were not. In their hearts they were non-Muslims. So a believer, a Muslim, a mu'min is very clear. A kafir is also very clear. He tells you, I don't believe, period. But a hypocrite is someone who shows you a face and in their heart they keep something else. So let's go through this real quick. You see these pictures and you go, these people are believers, right? This reminds you of your house? You guys do this at home? You do salat at home, mashallah, right? Yes, all these people making dua, these mothers here, little baby holding the Quran, small girls. This guy wants to grow up so quick, he cannot wait, so they put a fake beard on him. So, a little funny thing. So, here we go. So these are the believers, we clear about mu'minun, right? And then how about the kuffar? Check this out. This is a drawing of the Arabs back in the Jahiliyyah times, how they're bowing and worshipping idols. You know what this is? In India, there is a temple called the Rat Temple, where people go worship rats. Look, this lady, she's sitting worshipping the rats, and the rats are climbing on her clothing. That's nasty. That's kufr stuff. And I saw the documentary on National Geographic on this, and they said, oh, these rats are the souls of our ancestors, and we come to worship them. And if we want to drink milk, those rats have to drink from it, so they bless it, and then we drink it. I said, oh, how about all the poo everywhere? He said, oh, that's nice. We can drink it. I'm like, oh my God, Alhamdulillah for being Muslim. Bye-bye. These are Buddhists worshipping a bunch of Buddha statues and other small Buddha statues. So this and these are actually Christian bowing to the Virgin Mary, the statue of Virgin Mary. This is idol worshipping. And for us Muslims, idol worshipping equals kufr. Disbelief completely. Alhamdulillah that we don't do these things, right? Now let's move to the munafiqun, the hypocrites. Hypocrites show you one face, and when you go, they have another face. And that's why I collected this images to show you. Like, see how these guys are wearing masks? They're smiling at each other, but they're evil behind the mask. This guy here is lifting a mask of a nice guy, but inside he's like a thief. This guy here wears a completely different mask. They say nifaq. This guy here is smiling to his friend, but behind he has like a snake tongue, like he will talk bad about him. And this guy is a wolf who wears the face of a sheep. So nifaq can be summarized in these pictures, that people show you one face that does not represent who they truly are. But check this out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very aware of what everyone does, whether you are a Muslim, you are a non-Muslim, you are, even if the people are kafir, and even the munafiqun, and he speaks about them. There is an actual chapter in the Quran that is called the chapter Al-Munafiqun, the hypocrites. He says, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ وَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُمْ نَصِيرًا. He says that the Al-Munafiqun will be in the lowest depth of fire, of hellfire, and no helper will come to rescue them or will find them. Meaning that the hypocrites are worse than the kuffar, are worse than everybody else, because they're just a bunch of liars. You will ask me, why am I talking about hypocrites? Well, I'm going to explain further. النفاق هو إظهار الخير وإسرار الشر. hypocrisy is to show goodness and hide evil. Look at me, I'm a good person. Look at me, oh, I want to help you. Oh, let me. But inside, I want to steal from you. I want to do something bad. Oh, look at me, I'm a Muslim. I want to do salah. But inside, I'm just a spy for the government. I'm something, you know what I mean? That's called nifaq, hypocrisy. So, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it clear for us. He says that the signs of a hypocrite are three. Ayatul munafiqi thalath. إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا خاصم فجر أو إذا أؤتمن خان. He says here, the signs of the hypocrite are three. Whenever they speak, he speaks, he tells the truth. He tells a lie. Whenever he promises, he breaks his promise. Whenever he is entrusted with something, he will betray it. And another hadith that when he disputes with someone, when he argues with someone, he says bad words, and we'll get to that inshallah. So the first characteristic of the hypocrite, of the munafiq, the hypocrite is what? Huh? Lying. It's so easy. I just said, it's not a big deal. I just told her, son, did you do your salah? Yes. And you didn't. That's lying. Let's look into that further. Allah says the following. Allah is a witness that the hypocrites are liars. So those who continue lying, they're considered hypocrites. And I have to remind you that if you have nifaq, if you have hypocrisy in your heart, you're going to be below the kuffar in hellfire. You're going to be the worst of the worst. Let's remind ourselves why we are speaking. We're talking about hypocrites, about nifaq. Check this out. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah tells us, يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم. He says they try to deceive Allah and those who believe. What is deception? Deception is make believe. I want you to believe something that is not true. I want you to believe that I'm a good Muslim while I'm not. I want you to believe that I'm your friend while I'm your enemy. I want you to believe that I have your best interest at heart. But when you leave the room, I'll talk bad about you. Oh, assalamu alaikum, how are you? Everything is fine and dandy, right? But then when you leave, I see that person, then they start talking bad about you. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they only deceive themselves. وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They don't even know that they are deceiving themselves. They think they're so smart, but they're deceiving themselves. فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. In their hearts there is a disease. That's the disease of the heart. It's called nifaq, hypocrisy. And Allah increases their disease. He gives them more disease and they will be punished because of their lies. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا Very good. بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. Because of their lies. So you see how we made the correlation between hypocrites and liars? We agree? So we here in this room, we don't want to get nowhere near being a hypocrite. So let's be clear about that. Let's continue with our journey. يقول الصلاة عليه الصلاة والسلام. Nabi Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم says, وَيْلٌ لِلَّذِي يُحَدِّثُ الْقَوْمَ ثُمَّ يَكْذِبُ لِيَضْحَكَهُمْ وَيْلٌ لَهُ وَيْلٌ لَهُ. He says, the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, woe to the one who tells a lie to make others laugh. Woe to him, woe to him. What is woe to him? Woe to him in English means that there's big trouble coming to him. Big punishment, bad consequences of his deed. Meaning that the one who does what? The one who tells a lie to make people laugh, just tell him that you're going to be in serious trouble if you keep doing this. So never lie even if you're joking. Never tell a lie to make your friends give you attention. Haha, that's funny. No, they laugh at you. They laugh at your joke, but in actuality they laugh at you because you're a liar. We don't lie even if it's a joke. Good? Betrayal. The munafiq betrays. Munafiq, someone who you entrust with something or you entrust with your secrets and they betray you. يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم وإذا عاهد غدر. The Prophet says when the hypocrite promises something, he betrays. You promise to clean your room, you don't. You promise to memorize the surah, you don't. You promise you will help someone, you don't. So why would you promise something if you're not going to keep your promise? Because those who do not keep their promise are called munafiqun. Hypocrites, exactly, mashallah. Al-fujur fil khusumat. Insult, disrespect, and cussing when disputing. Let's say you dispute, you have an argument with someone, you disagree about something, and instead of saying, you know what, you have your opinion, I have mine, I don't agree with you, I'm leaving, they start insulting one another. They start calling each other by name. Your mother, your father, you did this, you did that, and they say bad words, and they try to insult each other using the most filthy stuff that comes out of their mouth. If you see someone do that, this is a sign of nifaq. It's a sign of hypocrisy. We Muslims cannot do that. If you argue with someone, just leave them, because there's nothing you can do. At least you protect yourself from saying bad words. You protect yourself from being filthy. Other signs of nifaq. You see these guys, they show love to one another, right? But look what's in each other's mind. Each one of them want to hit the other in the head. And you know why I put this picture here? Because one day, I was in a masjid, I was talking to one of the brothers. And another brother came by and he said, Salam alaikum, salam. These two guys, they hugged each other. Wallahi, I said with my own eyes, they hug each other. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, brother? How's your kids? How's your family? MashaAllah, I've been a long time. And then they hug each other again. And then they say something and then they hug each other again. I was like, how long is going to be hugging each other on and off? And then they hug each other again, and then and so how's the family? How's the business? Allah, I miss you so much. I'm like, okay. When one of them left, the other turned to me. He told me, this guy is a big shaitan. I was like, uh-oh. I wonder what he will tell about me when I leave. He was big shaitan. This guy did this and he did this. I was like, why were you hugging him? That's nifaq. That's hypocrisy. To show love to someone and not to. And the other forms of nifaq. I'm just telling you the signs of the hypocrites so you and I, inshallah, avoid being hypocrites. We agree? قال تعالى وإذا قاموا إلى الصلاة قاموا كسالى. And when they stand for the salah, they stand in laziness. They don't want to get up to pray. Okay. You know how people wake up to pray lazy? You want to be this guy waking up to salah? Lazy. Why you want to be lazy? How about this picture? Which one of these sisters you want to be? The one that is watching sitcoms and haram stuff? One is all day long with Harim al-Sultan and Bab al-Hara and all that stuff? Or the one that is reading her book, the Quran?
One of us
Quran was reading the Quran. MashaAllah, I like you guys are paying attention. So basically, this guy is too lazy to go to pray. This sister is this one is too busy watching sitcoms. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about them, when they get up for salah, they get too lazy because they're too busy watching, they're too busy doing other things. The salah becomes too heavy, and when you see people do that, it's a sign of hypocrisy. I hope that none of you in this room is lazy when it comes to prayer. Nabi Muhammad ﷺ warned us against this. And some scholars said that the worst disease of the heart, the worst disease is ar-riya, showing off. One of the signs of the hypocrites is showing off. When someone loves to show off, that's a sign of hypocrisy. يقول عز وجل يراؤون الناس ولا يذكرون الله إلا قليلا. They show off in front of people and they rarely remember Allah. Check this out. Purify attention. He's giving sadaqah, taking a selfie. Oh, look at me. I'm such a good person. Look at me. I'm working in the homeless shelter. Look at what I'm doing. And people keep putting this stuff on their social media to show that they are better than the rest of us. Well, if you were to do, a good deed, keep it in secret. Yesterday, I was in a masjid, and then after the salah, the brother says, the brothers and sisters, we were to tell you that we are working on the masjid, blah blah blah, and we don't know which masjid it is, right? Right, Dawood? We don't even know he's Muslim. And we were pleasantly surprised with a check of $5,000 who came from brother so and so and so, the name, family name, everything. I said, if you give charity, why are you saying names? Keep it secret. No, they had to public the name. And then the lunch was sponsored by brother so and so and so. I said, Ya Allah, why? You're taking selfies with every sadaqah you're giving. It's supposed to be in secret. Between you and Allah, if you're supporting an effort. So Muslims are not supposed to be showing off, especially their deeds. How about when you are home, you don't want to pray. When you're in the masjid, mashallah, you pray, you do the sunnah, everything. But when you're alone by yourself, you're too lazy. Am I right or wrong? Here you are, fi sabilillah. What does fi sabilillah mean? For the sake of Allah. He's giving charity to this lady who has a baby, and then he says, oh, I planted a good seed in paradise. This is a good deal. My plant is growing in heavens. And he's walking to the masjid, and he gets a phone call. The plant is growing. Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Alhamdulillah, thanks. And then he says, by the way, I just met the beggar lady. Yes, the one with the little boy. And I gave her some money, you know. Look what happened to his plant in Jannah. He just burned it. Why? Because this guy likes to show off. Let's think about the picture in that corner. What would you think about this picture right here? Is it? Give me one word to describe this picture. Huh? I can't hear you. Anyone? Beautiful.
So pretty.
So pretty. So beautiful. We all agree that there is something good about this picture, right? Now, if I was to tell you that we can go from hasanat to dust, meaning this beautiful mountain, imagine if you have this giant mountain filled with your good deeds. Imagine you have a mountain of good deeds, but in an instant it turns to a sandstorm. It turns to dust. Imagine a mountain that turns into dust. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do that. Look at this long hadith, and we want to study this. It's very important. It says, some people will come in the day of judgment. You know, we're all going to be standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
She doesn't know where the girl's bathroom is.
Oh, it's over there, and you make a right. من هالباب الصغير اطلع على اليمين. يلا عمو. Thank you for helping. So it says some people will come in front of Allah in the day of judgment with a lot of good deeds, the size of a mountain. Imagine your good deeds are, and he says, he said, تهامة البيضاء إن يجعل الله له طول. It's like a giant mountain with white good deeds. It looks so bright like a snow on a mountain, but Allah will turn them to worthless dust. Imagine you do a lot of good deeds in your life, and then you show up in front of Allah, and you say, oh, these are my mountains of good deeds that I accumulated. And say, Ya Allah, I love my good deeds, I want to go to Jannah. And then in one stroke, Allah turns it into dust, worthless dust that can be blown by the wind. The companions of Rasulullah asked him, aren't they Muslims? These people who lost their hasanat in Yawm al-Qiyamah, imagine, you work all your life, you accumulate a giant bank account. Let's say you have $1 million in your bank account. You go one day to the bank and say, I want to pull my money out, I want to buy a house, I buy a car, I want to do this. And then they say, oh, by the way, your money, it just burned in a fire. You have no money left. How would you feel if you lose all your money?
I'll be sad.
Huh? You'll be sad. Well, how about if you go to the day of judgment in Yawm al-Qiyamah and you lose all your hasanat, all your good deeds? You just lost them in an instant. The Sahaba were wondering, aren't these people Muslim? He answered, the Prophet ﷺ, he replied, they used to pray like you do. They used to fast like you do. They used to give charity like you do. They did some night prayers too, but when they were alone, they did haram things. Meaning that they prayed, they gave charity, they did all the Islamic deeds, but when they're alone and nobody's watching, they used to do haram things. Why? Why would you do a bunch of haram things when you know Allah is watching you 24/7? Why would you risk losing all your hasanat? Everything you've worked for your entire life in this dunya just goes away like dust, blown by the wind. Mahmoud ibn Labid, he narrated something beautiful about the Prophet ﷺ. He said, إِنَّ أَخْوَفَ مَا أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمُ الشِّرْكَ الْأَصْغَرِ. This is some of the characters of the hypocrites, of the munafiqun. the small kind of shirk. He says here, the most fear for you, the most I fear for you is small shirk. His companions, Sahaba, they said, وَمَا الشِّرْكُ الْأَصْغَرُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. He says, what is the small kinds of shirk? He replied, الرِّيَاء. He replied, showing off. يقول الله عز وجل لهم يوم القيامة إذا جزي الناس بأعمالهم اذهبوا إلى الذين كنتم تراؤون في الدنيا. He says here, Allah will tell them in the hereafter, after people were rewarded, go to those to whom you showed off in the dunya. You were showing off to people, right? In Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah tell you, well, go back, go to those people who you're trying to impress and let them give you al-Jannah. And they won't be able to admit you in al-Jannah. It will be impossible. Because you didn't do what you did for Allah, you did it for people. So in Yawm al-Qiyamah, it will be between you and people, because Allah is not going to do nothing for you. Why? Because you were just a show-off. Think about this guy. He's showing off that he's brave. Oh, here's, look, an alligator. But the alligator thinks, oh, dinner. He doesn't see a guy, he sees dinner. So he jumps out of the water. No, why is he running? Why don't you just keep your arm like that? And that's why every time you show off, you fail, whether it's in the dunya or in the akhirah. Because none of you want to be this guy. What's wrong with this picture right here?
The bucket has holes in the
The bucket has holes in it. So what happens to the bucket with two?
All the water falls out.
All the water will fall out. Which means what? So this guy will be trying to fill this bucket time and time and time and again, but the bucket will never be full. It will remain empty. The bucket will remain empty because there are holes in there. And that's how it would happen to us if we do all these good deeds and at the end of the day do haram things and lose all your hasanat. Ibn al-Qayyim said something very nice here. He says that's the salat of the munafiqun. No submissiveness in salah. What is submissiveness in salah? What is khushu' in salah? Huh? Concentration. When you go to salah and you stand in salah, your mind is thinking to what the Quran you're listening, or to what the Imam is saying, or to what you are saying. So when you have khushu', submissiveness, concentration, your mind does not go somewhere else to think about your toys, to think about your video games or movies or whatever. You try to focus so that you think only about your salah. The salah of the hypocrite is what has no submission and no submissiveness. Is it two people would pray next to each other? Check this out. There are two people standing shoulder to shoulder, they're praying next to each other in one line behind the same imam, but their salah is different, like the sky and the earth. Imagine the difference between the heavens and the earth, the skies and the earth. That's the difference between the salah of two people who are sitting adjacent to each other, who are next to each other. How come one has a salah that is so good and one that has not so good? It says here, because one has sincerity in his heart, love, yearning to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, observance to His commands, fear of Allah, and the other one in his heart, what? His heart is not present, he's not here, his heart is somewhere else. His heart is so far from his Creator, and his heart is dead. You stand in front of salah, instead of listening to Quran, try to focus on your salah, oh, you're somewhere else. So whether you prayed or you didn't, your body did the salah, your soul didn't. That's why we are encouraged to focus in the salah and concentrate. I'm speechless when I looked at this picture. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to describe it. But I believe that this man has khushu' in his salah. That his horse has no choice but to follow him. قال تعالى قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. Those who have khushu' in their salah are successful. Those who concentrate, focus in their salah are successful. Let me ask you this. We play video games for half hour, half a day, 12 hours, 4 hours, right? Am I right or wrong? We play a lot of video games, right? And we focus all day long. But when it comes to salah, it takes 5 minutes, and you cannot focus for 5 minutes. You cannot focus for 2 minutes. Why is that? It just shows you that your salah is only with your body because your mind is somewhere else? How come you focus with video games and you never focus with salah? You should ask yourself these questions and train yourselves from now on, as young as you might be or as old as you might be, to start learning how to focus in the salah. Tell yourself, I'm praying only for 5 minutes, only 10 minutes. Forget about the dunya, forget about my games, forget about my friends, forget about Facebook. I'm just gonna focus for this time, because after the salah is over, you can go back to your normal life. Don't let the shaitan distract you. And you can see how Muslims do the khushu'. Look at this brother. Look how this brother was praying. I think his mind is somewhere else. Do you think he's thinking about something else other than the salah, other than the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is in the tarawih. Look at this, he's already crying. Look at these Muslims in Africa. Everybody's focused in their salah. I don't wonder why they're not distracted. One other sign of the hypocrites. Hypocrites have another sign. You can tell a hypocrite from the following: when they mock the words of Allah, when they mock Islam. Allah is asking a question. Say, ask them, are you mocking Allah, His verses, or His messenger? Which one are you mocking? I personally heard jokes about the Quran from Muslims. Wallahi, they take a word in the Quran, one word that sounds like something in their slang, and they turn it into a joke. There was a former dictator in Yugoslavia. His name was Tito. You know Tito? You remember the dictator? You guys, kids don't know this. So the guy says, one of the supposed shuyukh told him, "Oh, President Tito, your name is mentioned in the Quran." He said, "Really?" He says, "Wama utitu min al-ilm." He said, he used half of the word of the Quran to make the president of a dictator from Yugoslavia to laugh. That's a joke about the Quran, or about Allah who created the Quran, or about what? People make jokes that would put them out of the deen when they mock the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can't make jokes. And double standards is hypocrisy. Double standards is when you take, when you judge the same matter with two different standards. Check this out. What do you think about it? What the general public thinks about a nun? This is a Catholic nun. When they see a woman wearing the hijab like this, they say, "Oh, she's devoted. Oh, religious." But when they see a Muslim woman, they say she's oppressed. What's the difference between these two? They have this guy, Ali.
One looks like proud and one looks sad.
Well, I don't know about their facial features, but I'm saying that they're dressed almost alike, right? But why the media portrays this one as a devoted religious person and this one as an oppressed person? Just to show you girls that you will go through this, but just tell them, this is hypocrisy. Go ahead, sweetie. Go ahead. No, well, it's basically they're both doing their prayer. They're dressed the same, but for me, there is no difference in their dress code. It just people just judge the same thing differently. Go ahead.
One of them is worshiping like different religion.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead, Amr. Yeah.
The first one has his hands like this, and the other has his hands like this.
MashaAllah alik. This one is the making dua, mashallah. Very good. So, okay, here I made a mistake. So, do you want to spend the rest of your life working for nothing? Anyone want to spend the rest of their life working for nothing? Exactly. You can spend the rest of your life doing ibadah, trying to be a good Muslim, do salah, do hajj, do zakah, do everything, but at the end of the day, you might end up with zero because you have characters of nifaq, of hypocrisy. And that's why you guys should watch out, not to lie, not to mock the deen of Allah, not to show people different faces, not to be lazy for the salah, so that inshallah will save you from being hypocrite and have hypocrisy inside your heart. Would you like, which one of these two things, which one of these two would you want to be? Want to be a donkey or want to be the guy who pulls it? Anyone want to be a donkey? Why we don't want to be a donkey? Because the donkey is being dragged to do something. Did you know that if you put something like to put a donkey to work, you have to keep telling the donkey, "Oh, keep going, move, move." If you don't tell him to move, it will stop. So the donkey would not work on his own. Someone has to keep poking him, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, right? And sometimes you have to drag a donkey like that. I think that the donkey is you if you are this kid. Why does your mom have to tell you every day, had to tell you the same thing over and over and over again, and it doesn't change? Does it remind you of yourself?
Yes.
Well, we don't want to be this guy. How about this guy now? You know, when it's time for Fajr, you keep saying just 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes. I sleep for just 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, just 4 or 5 more minutes. And then you sleep, and then 5 minutes later you say just 5 minutes. Another hour, you say just 5 minutes. Until one day, you end up in your grave, and game will be over. You won't have no 5 minutes to sleep. There will be no Salatul Fajr for you. If you spend your life saying just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, you will spend the rest of your life with never going to Fajr. I know people who have lived 50 years, they never woke up for Salatul Fajr. It does not exist for them. That if they pray, when they stop praying, brother, go to Salatul Fajr. Oh man, it's too early, man, I sleep late. Why do you sleep late? Watching TV. That's exactly what happened. We're talking nonsense. So, we don't want to be this guy who's going to spend his life, oh, tomorrow I'll go to Fajr, tomorrow I'll go to Fajr, and one day they end up in their grave. Now, let's take these two guys. This guy's like, oh no! Why is he sad? Why is he angry? He missed his flight. He said, I missed my flight, departure, gate, whatever. You know, he wants to go places, and his flight is gone. But the same guy, people are leaving the masjid, and he's barely showing up to the masjid. He says, I missed prayers. Oh well. What do you guys think about this? Huh? Well, how come he's angry for missing a flight and he's not angry for missing? Aliyah, go ahead. Exactly. She said that the flight was more important to him than the salat. Imagine someone who has this attitude. The salah is not important. When he misses salat, he's okay. But when he misses a flight, he becomes very angry. This is dangerous. Would we say that this guy has hypocrisy in his heart? Yes or no? Yes. So salah is so important that we should take care of it. It's even more important than a flight. Let's take a look at these two guys. Can you guys describe this image to me? Go ahead, green hijab, go ahead. What's your name?
The other guy is playing video games while the other guy is viewing his Quran.
MashaAllah. Everybody heard that? So this guy is too busy. I'll kill you. He's just playing, watching movies, watching whatever he's watching, playing video games. Meanwhile, in the same place, this guy is reading Quran. Right? So check this out. Which one of these guys we want to be? The one here, right? The one. Okay, to the one to the right or to the left? Right. To the right?
No, left.
This is my right.
Left.
Left like this?
Yes.
So left like this?
No. Right.
Which one?
Left like this. Our right. Our right. This one.
Huh?
This one.
Which side, right or left?
This one.
This one or left? Okay. So you all want to be this one?
Yes.
You don't want to be this one?
No.
You guys are not gonna be hypocrites, and you're not gonna lie, and you're gonna say the truth, right?
Yes.
How many of you are this guy now?
No.
Raise your hand if you are this guy. Oops. All right, forget about it. Forget about this guy. I'm gonna cover it with my back. I'm just gonna cover it. We're gonna focus on this guy, right? Because.
Could it be the same guy?
Huh?
Could it be the same guy who gives time for praying and time for Quran?
There you go. What Brother Abdul Hakim said is you could be both when you give time for playing and time for Quran. Because most of you play 4 hours a day, watch TV for 4 hours a day, and when it comes to weekend school and I ask you, did you memorize the half a page of the Quran I gave you for an entire week? You start. So, you are very young and you have enough time to dedicate to your Quran so you get it over with. Let's look at these guys now. What is this? Describe this picture on your. What is that?
Left.
Your left? Is my right? Okay, your left. What is this picture? Let's look at where do these people live? In a tent. Do they have money?
No.
Okay, what do they have for food? Bread, right? So this guy, what did he say to the poor person who came to beg? Here a piece of bread, right? Here's a piece of bread, right? So he's sharing his bread with this guy, right? What do you think about this man?
He
does good deeds, right? Let's move to the next picture now. Let's look at the house. Does this look poor?
No.
Well, look at how much food he has. Does he look rich? But then he says, here is a piece of bread just like the other guy. Which one of those has hypocrisy in his heart? My left, like this. Okay. So, what's wrong with this picture? Abdurrahman. It's not enough. Why is not enough, Abdurrahman? He has a lot of food, yet he just gives the share of bread. This is half of the bread. Look, compare how much food this guy has and how much food this guy has. Anybody else want to tell me what's wrong with this picture? Go ahead. Jomana, go ahead. Exactly, mashallah, go ahead.
The old man tricked the poor person and he tricked
Well, nobody tricking, honestly. Go ahead, Amma.
On the right,
Uh-huh.
the guy with the purple that's giving him the bread, he's showing goodness, but in the inside he's probably like
Wow! What's your name, Amma?
Abdullah.
Abdullah. Hold on, guys. I have to talk about what Abdullah says. Abdullah is so smart that he could relate what we've seen here to the lecture of talking about hypocrisy. He's showing that he's doing a good deed, but inside of him, he's not. You know why? This is just a show off, because if he truly wanted to share, he would have shared more food with the poor man. But instead, he just showed something to the outside. Okay, I'm giving you some bread, but in reality, he's so greedy to keep everything for himself. Abdullah, very good point. MashaAllah, I'm proud of you. Go ahead.
On the picture on the right,
Uh-huh.
he gives him a piece of bread, not even, he has more than a piece of bread, he just gives him a piece of bread instead of the whole bread.
Wow! What's your name?
Omar?
Omar. My God, these kids are so smart. Look, listen, guys, listen. Shh. Listen to what Omar said. He said, he has so much food already, and instead of giving the entire loaf of bread to the person, he gives him half. Well, we understand that this brother here gives half to leave half of his for his family. There's 2 other people eating the other half. So he shared 50% of his food with the poor man. When we move to this guy, I mean, this is not even 1%. Look how much food he has. Instead of giving him the whole loaf, he gives him just half of it. MashaAllah, a very good point. Tell me, quickly.
Because this guy just gave it to the old man, and then he just wasted their food to give it to this guy. The one
No. These are 2 different situations, but very smart point. This guy is amazing. Tell me. No, you already said something. I'm not going to go back to you. Give a chance to another place. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, that's the same point that Omar said. Go ahead.
that guy,
Uh-huh.
he's doing the he's making for a half for him,
Mm-hmm.
the old person, and then the other one, instead of giving him the whole thing,
Uh-huh.
he has to give him a hat.
Come here, come here, come here. Come here. What's your name?
Ali.
Salam alaikum. Ali is my father's name too. Ali, say salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ali is my friend, and he said something very important. I cannot recall it now, but it was so complicated, but I'll tell you next time. Yeah, Ali, sit down. Jazakumullah khairan. Right, so now, we want to be these guys. Which one we want to be, we said? We want to be the one on you guys' left, right? Okay, good. Which one do we want to be?
The one on our right.
Which one do we want to be?
None. I don't want to be none.
You want to be none. Very good. Which one do we want to be? Which one do you want to be? Okay. I'm going to show you which one we really want to be. Raise your hand if you want to be this guy. MashaAllah. All right. Now that you have raised your hand, look now. Now that you raise your hand, shh. Now that you raise your hand, who's gonna promise? Oh, by the way, hypocrites, when they promise something, they never deliver. So please, don't promise something you're not gonna deliver. Who's gonna promise to wake his family tomorrow for Fajr? Like this. Let's go pray. I don't see many hands.
I'll try.
All right, boys and girls. I'm gonna count 3, and everybody's gonna be silent. 1, 2, 3. I still hear noise. Okay. 1, 2, 3. People are gonna be seeing you, listen to this on YouTube. You know what they're gonna say? Oh my God, these kids are amazing. 1, 2, 3, and everybody was quiet. What kind of discipline is this? Oh my God.
Wait, how did people see this?
I love this, Allah. These kids are amazing, mashallah. Now, the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to fear nifaq. You see, unlike people today, they're proud of being munafiq. You know what I mean? Check this out. One time, I watched this YouTube. This guy has a cell phone, right? Where's my cell phone? Let's assume that this is a cell phone. It's actually a fake cell phone. It has a battery inside with a, what do you call that thing with you, electricity? Taser. With a remote control. So when he plays, he drops his phone, and then he walks by some people, and he drops his phone, and then some guy picked up his phone like this, and then he comes back, excuse me, did you see my phone? You see my phone? He's like, I didn't see nothing, I didn't see nothing. Exactly. So how many things he committed in hypocrisy, in nifaq? Number 1 is, he lied. He says, I don't have your phone. Well, he has it in his pocket, right? And number 2, he looked at him, he's looking at his smile to me, showed him like, I'm innocent, I don't have your phone. But inside his heart, he is what?
His taser.
No, but he thought it was a phone. He thought it was a phone. No. This is just a comment. Guess what happened? Shh. Of course, the guy says, oh, well, I have a thing when I look at my phone. And he pushed the button, and then the thing got electrocuted, and he pulled it out, and he threw it, and I started running. I said, sir, what you just had my phone? He's on my phone. And then he's like, well, I didn't mean to take it, but it's in my pocket. It's just pure hypocrisy, pure lying, pure everything. So people nowadays are not afraid of being hypocrites. They actually brag about it. You know, you confront someone on Facebook. I don't have Facebook, and I'm just assuming. You tell them, "Oh, you said this about me." They say, "So what?" So hypocrites are talking about you in your backbiting you. They say, "So what?" They don't care. They're not concerned with your well-being. They don't care. But here, the Sahaba of Rasulullah, they feared nifaq. Now, Sayyidina Umar, who knows Umar ibn Khattab? Raise your hand. Umar ibn Khattab is a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was a commander of the believers also. So one day, did I tell you about the hypocrites that lived during the time of Rasulullah ﷺ? How many were they? 300, mashallah. I remember. Now amongst these 300, the Prophet Muhammad, He knew they were hypocrites. He went to the Sahaba, he went to Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman. He told him, these 300 are hypocrites. When they die, don't make Salatul Janazah on their bodies. You know Salatul Janazah?
Yes.
When you do the Salah for funeral, when someone passes away, we do Salah. Right? Exactly. The Salah that has no ruku', has no sujood. That's called Salatul Janazah. We'll talk about it inshallah one day. And he's told Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, do not, these are munafiq, and these are their names. And Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman memorized their names. He knew their names. He had the list. Umar ibn al-Khattab heard about this. He heard that Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman knew who are the hypocrites. You know, Umar was told by the Prophet ﷺ that you are guaranteed to go to Al-Jannah. He's guaranteed to go to Al-Jannah. 10 people, Rasul ﷺ told them in their face, you are going to Jannah. And Umar is one of them. Yet he ran to Hudayfa and he told him, بِرَبِّك, by Allah, by your Lord, أَسْمِي مَعَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ, is my name amongst the munafiqeen? Please tell me if my name is there, because if my name is amongst the hypocrites, I want to fix myself. Imagine Umar ibn Khattab, one of the best companions of the Prophet. He's worried about himself to be a hypocrite. So he ran to Hudayfa, please tell me if I'm a hypocrite. Is my name among the hypocrites? Now, you and I and everybody listening, we should ask ourselves, is my name under the hypocrites or amongst the hypocrites? We have to ask ourselves, do I act like the hypocrite, like the munafiqeen? Do I take it easy when I lie? Do I delay my salah? Am I lazy doing ibadah? Am I disrespectful to my parents? Am I doing these acts of nifaq or not? Because if you are, you will spend the rest of your life living as a Muslim, and in Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will have absolutely no hasanat, and you will end up with the munafiqeen in the lowest dungeons of hellfire. That's not a good place to be. So don't waste your lifetime acting somehow like a munafiq. You want to act like a Muslim who holds himself or herself accountable before Allah holds us accountable. And this is something that Umar ibn Khattab said. If Umar is worried being a munafiq, we should be more worried than him. Because all what we do is learn our deen. All what we do is acquire this knowledge, because knowledge is the key to success. I'm reminding you of last week. Knowledge will give us higher grounds to look at life differently and more clearly. So I invite each of you to acquire this knowledge and be good at it. And one day, some of you will stand up in my place and give these talks. Until then, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep you safe and healthy and high status of iman and low nifaq or zero nifaq. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.